Well, hello, everybody. Hi, it's Becky from Power Tools with Thread, and you are in our Stitchuation room. This is a Monday through Friday virtual stitching retreat where you follow me along on my sewing journey, and I hope I inspire you to put something under the needle. Let's get the Frito visit out of the way, shall we? It is first thing in the morning here, bright and early. Where'd she go? She's here somewhere. Where is she? There she is. Come here, baby. Come here, baby. Oh, she's always hiding behind that table. Let me move my table. What are you hiding back there for? Oh, Mama made a mess last night, didn't I? Didn't I? Yeah, we can't see you. There she is. Here you go, baby girl. Hello. Oh, sweetheart. She's so quiet and chill, y'all. Checking out my fly flip-flops. Yes, that's a good girl. Oh, sweet girl. I have got these little clips all over the floor. My little bin of them spilled last night, and I thought I got them all up. Obviously, I didn't move the table. I use these to clip my fabric to the comic book boards or to itself. That's my life. That's how that goes. Yeah. Okay. Let's get back here in the corner, shall we, and do some chatting and see what's going on. So yesterday, I digitized the angel with y'all for this Merry Christmas quilt right here and finished her up, got her done. I'll show you here in just a second as soon as I can sit down. Let's see. All righty. Awesome. Awesome. You getting your Christmas t-shirt mojo going? Thank you, Veronica. She says, I love your shirt. Yeah, this is from Be Inspired Tees. I've got a link to them below in the description box. And Sheila, the owner of the company, tells me if you want to get yours before Christmas, you need to make sure to order before December 4th. So I want to make sure you guys are aware of that. Okay. So yesterday, if you weren't here, there's been a lot of questions. I get them all the time about what would I put inside of a table runner. And Carolyn Poley from Jelly Rolls to Go made this runner for me. And I love how drapey it is. And I also love how thin it is. I showed this yesterday, but if you weren't here, so this has Pellon's 987F in it. Okay. And it does not have any batting. Okay. Someone asked the question, is it in addition to batting or just the Pellon 987? And that's all it is. And it's really a wonderful thickness for the table runners because it's nice and flat and you're not going to get wobbly glasses on it. So just want to run that by you one more time. If yesterday's title of the video, you were like, I'm not doing that, so you didn't watch, which is fine. Okay. So yesterday I did finish digitizing the angel and got her done. She's adorable. She's adorable. Now, what I did was went back in. I know yesterday I was not able to show you how I created the SVG cut files. And those cut files are your applique pieces. I call them cut files, but they're the ones that you turn into applique. Okay. And so I went back and I did a video, pre-recorded video to show you how to do that with this pattern. And then I recorded putting it all together and a few lessons learned at the end of the video. And I will get that out to you guys this morning. Okay. Patsy says, I have FOMO if I don't watch. FOMO, y'all, is fear of missing out. You never know what you're doing. Yeah, even if it's something you think you're not interested in, a lot of people just love to put this on in the background. It's an hour generally, and they can have some stitchy talk going on, you know, while they're paying attention to what they're doing or they're doing their handwork or something like that. So, all right. Katie, I hear you and I read the typo. She says, I absolutely despise shopping in any store other than a fabric store. Me too. I just have no desire to go into those places. It's all Amazon or nothing, or Walmart, or not. Yeah, Walmart, Amazon, Sam's, and Costco. I have everything delivered. Of course, I live forever away. But anyway, so very, very cute. She turned out just adorable. And I'm very pleased with it. Now, the one thing I did do yesterday is I changed my process so that I'm not just scanning in the papers and then cutting out the pieces. I'm scanning in the papers, importing them into Brilliance embroidery software, and then creating the cut files, which are the applique pieces, then cutting them out. And y'all, I am thrilled. It is such a much better method. This is why I haven't put out any directions on this, because things change in my mind all the time. Look at the precision of the shape and the stitching. Look at how perfect everything fit. Isn't that amazing? The whole thing, even that little, let me get the halo. Look how perfect that fit. It's awesome. And the one thing I did do yesterday as well is I had made 2 little lines in the halo, one in the center of it and one down to her head. What I did was I got rid of both of those and I made a single line that started up underneath the halo and finished down below the hair, and then just stitched over the top of it with the halo. It works so incredibly well. And like I said yesterday, if I wasn't talking to y'all and answering questions and explaining, then I can get this ready to go in about 10, 15 minutes, and then just pop it in the embroidery machine and it's off. So it was a lot of fun to have it done so quickly. So let me take a couple of pins since I'm out of space up. Ow, just stuck myself. Ah. Let me put her up here. I'll let you guys oogle and ogle at her. She's fabulous. And I just dropped the pin. Where'd it go? Oh, there. Cool. Love it. Okie dokie. Moving on that. I got to tell y'all, okay, not quilting related. Y'all ever seen those Amazon smart plugs? It looks like a little wall plug. Well, I always talk about how I have my Sapporo gravity-fed iron plugged into a power strip, and a light is also plugged into the power strip. Okay, and it's one of those little strip lights. It's up on the wall, up on the ceiling. So I have it so that if the light is on, the iron is on, and that's a really good safety thing for me, so I don't go leaving the iron on when I leave the house or whatever. Well, talking to a friend of mine. Who was I talking to? Somebody was talking. Oh, my friend Dana. She was talking to me about smart plugs. And I have a couple, but I'm like, what would I use that for? I don't usually use lights on a, what do they call it? A routine. Come on at this time, go off at that time. That's not me. I don't have anything that I do that with. So, Carolyn's on it. Okay. She says, I love my smart plugs. I have my sewing room in a group, and I can yell at Alexa to turn off the sewing room and all the plugs go off. Right. That's awesome. That's absolutely right. So I plugged the power strip into the smart plug and programmed the smart plug with my phone. Am I muted? Can you guys hear me? No, I'm not muted. And I thought I saw my voice. Anyway, so it comes on at 6 a.m., which is fine. That's when I get out of bed to do the Stitchuation room. And if I'm going to be ironing anything with you, I need the iron on and ready. You hear fine. I know, because I can hear you. I can see your, okay. And then, so it's on at 6 and it goes off at 7, which is fine. But if I leave the house, I usually would go over and, like, if I got to go to the grocery store or whatever, I'd go over and turn the power strip off anyway. before the plug. Well, now I can just tell the phone lady, whose name starts with an A, not an S, to turn the iron off. And I love that. I think that's awesome. Are they also surge protectors? No, Beth, they are not. But it is, no, they don't have that. Now, the power strip that my iron is on is a surge protector, but you can plug your surge protector into the plug. You know what I mean? So I've got that ginormous big surge protector on both my Brother Luminaire and my 10 needle. So if anything goes wonky with the power, those are protected. Okay. So yeah, but I don't have those on all the time. So you call her the bee, the bee in the box. Mm. Oh, I love that's a good, that's a great idea. Free Spirit says, Alexa, cut out my quilt pieces. Fabulous, fabulous. Just so you guys know, we're not going to have a show tomorrow. I'm off. It's Thanksgiving. So, oh, there you go. Patricia says Alex A. That's a good way to do it. Yeah. You just call her Alex A when you don't want her attention, right? So, yeah, no Stitchuation room tomorrow. If you are overseas, I apologize, but tomorrow is USA Thanksgiving. I have 2 ginormous 20-pound bags of potatoes that that's my dish. I'm taking to a potluck. And so Monday, I didn't do any yesterday. I'll do the rest of them today. But Monday, what I did was took one bag and peeled them all up. And there were the big ones, so they're easy to peel. And then cut them into giant pieces. Okay, like one potato like this, down the center and whack, 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 whack. That's nothing diced, right? Just big chunks. And then put those into the Instant Pot for 18 minutes with a cup of water, and they're perfect. So then I put them into a food saver bag and sucked all the air out of it and sealed it. And they're in the bottom of the refrigerator. All I have to do is pop them into boiling water for about 5 minutes, and they will be fresh and ready to go. So that's a trick I learned from somewhere in my travels on the internet. You can do that and throw those freezer bags in the freezer. And then when you need mashed potatoes in a hurry, you just pop them into some boiling water and ta-da. Love it. You do your sweet potatoes that way. Good. Awesome. Sounds like, okay. Let me see. Question. If your Amazon cart is full and then log out and log in through my link and click buy, do I get credit for the whole cart? You know, Margie, I don't know about that. I have no idea. And don't you worry about it. Okay. You guys are good enough for me. It's fine. That is all just fine. Okay. You were, So I had mentioned to y'all the other day, I got block 6, the basket of the designer mystery block of the month for Fat Quarter Shop came in. And I did get that cut. I've got it on an easy stacks. So it's all cut and waiting for me to get with the program. My B is MIA. It's around here somewhere. I went looking for it and I can't find it. I don't know. I don't know where it went. I'll find it. I'll find it. So today I wanted to go ahead and get the borders off of that panel for Steampunk Stitchery. And I also wanted to do some more stitching on the Quilted Snowman, the Shimmering Snowflake blocks. Those guys right there. So this background fabric on this quilt is directional. And I have half a mind to send hate mail to Lori Holt and tell her, don't do that again. Because I made all of my corners, you know, they tell you put your corner blocks together. Okay. Do all 4 of your corner blocks. And I did. Well, because the corner blocks are, you know, like this, 2 are right and 2 are wrong. And I'm like, oh, I am not going to take these apart and do them again. I'm just not. So is what it is. So like on this one, if this is in the upper right corner, this is correct. Okay. That's how that goes. But this, let me see. I need an easy stacks to show you guys what I'm talking about, because it holds it in place. Oh, here we go. These guys are done already. This top row, I finished it. Let me turn it this way. Okay. So one side has the directional fabric correct, and the other side has the directional fabric wrong. Has it sideways. So 2 are right and 2 are going to be wrong on each one of these blocks, because I've already made all 4 corners for the blocks. I have a couple of other blocks that I've made where the directional fabric was going the wrong way, or it looks the wrong way because it might be a sew and flip or whatever. And you know what? So be it. I'm not going to kill myself about this and make myself crazy. And so while I am going to continue to try to get the directional fabric correct. Yeah, but when you look at it back here, nobody sees that. And in the end, nobody's going to notice it anyway. I'm sending this up to my family in Colorado because they have snowmen up there. But yeah, I'm not going to bother with that. And today I want to talk to you about, see that chevron in the middle? Okay. That was something to put together, and there's a trick to it. And for you beginner quilters, I want to show you what that is. Okay. D-Craft uses the smart plug for the Christmas tree. Brilliant. Yeah, that's nice. Remember back in the, oh, sorry about that. Remember back in the day, oh, Sandy, I wanted to show people your stuff. Hold on a second. Thank you, Sandy. Remember back in the day, we used to have those old timers. You would turn the dial and it had one little thing to click it on and the other little thing to click it off. And you would set those. Remember those? I don't even know if those are still around. I think that the smart plug killed those off. You guys, I want to find the email from Sandy. Let me see here. Is this even on? I don't know if it's on. Oh, there it is. It's coming to life. I got to show y'all. She sent me a picture. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. If I can find this. I want to get this picture that she sent, if I can see it. She took these blocks behind me. Where's the original one, Sandy? Okay. There it is. All right. So let me share my screen with you guys so you can see what she did. Okay. Here we go. Now, let me get this just right so you guys can see full screen. There we go. Look at that. So those are, look at the size of those blocks. So you can see the seam line right here is even with this. So 1, 2, 3. Those are 3.5-inch blocks. There's the angel. And she did a nutcracker. And this is a Designs by Juju. And then put them here. It's a little wall hanging, you guys. How awesome is that? And they're perfect. She snap-appliqued those. Okay. I love that. I think that's amazing. So how you do that is you put the whole block together in Brother Canvas. When you import your scans in Brother Canvas, and you put it all together exactly as it needs to go in Canvas. You're just playing with the outlines, right? Then you group the whole thing. So select all, get them all together, right-click group, make them one object, and then reduce the size of that object down to the size of the block that you want to make. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant way. If you only have a 5x7 hoop, brilliant way to do that. So you shrink them down to what you need, okay? And then so that she wanted hers to fit on 3.5-inch blocks. Shrunk them all the way down, and then right-click ungroup and separate out your pieces and cut them out, you know, and get them going. So I think that is just fabulous. Nicely done. I like it as a wall hanger. Wouldn't that be an adorable set of little pot holders, right? For Christmas. Adorable. I know. Is it 6-inch? Those 2-inch blocks? You bet. Okay, so she made them 6-inch blocks. There she is right here. Yeah. Sandy's the one, if you watch the video that we had at El Campo when we did the RV sew together, Sandy's the one who had finished the large quilt of this, and I was talking to her about it. She's up near Georgetown, Texas, and she had it quilted and all done and everything. So, yeah. Oh, I got an angel on my shoulder. Yay. I need it. So yeah, little 6-inch pot holders. Those are great. And it's really easy to do once you get the hang of it. Okay. So I think that's all I wanted to talk to you about that wasn't sitting here stitching, as far as I know. I've got to put all this stuff back into some semblance of order now in my piles. Oh my goodness. It will make a great table runner. You could take 2 of the same on the outside or mix and match them as you want. That's the beauty of doing all of that. And now that Juju has got those background quilting designs, the backdrops, you can just load those in there and go to town. Don't forget, her site is 75% off. She's doing Black Friday the whole month of November. And then, so December 1st, all that goes back to regular pricing. So don't miss out on that, okay? Go get you a bunch of backdrops for the whole rest of the year. You'll have everything you need. And then you're going to have them when it's time to get that done. Well, good day, Chris from Down Under. Nice to see you. All righty. Betsy just got a bunch from Juju. Good. Oh, Jamie let me know that there were over a dozen inquiries about the cruises coming up in May out of Galveston on Royal Caribbean. So I'm glad you guys are interested in that. That's going to be fun. Okay. So I want to talk about getting those chevron blocks made. Okay. If you just joined us, the chevron block portion of the block is this right here in the middle. All right. So I've got my corners all made up and the chevron is in the middle. So when you make up the blocks, let me see. Did I already do them all? I already did them all. When you make up the blocks and you're doing your sew and flip, the natural ironing direction is to the outside. So look at the back there, because you're sewing your background fabric and your other fabric to the corners, and you're folding it over and you're ironing. Okay. So that naturally pushes and folds that seam allowance, the seam allowance outward on both corners. If you want your chevron to look flat and pretty, then you have to take half of them, doesn't matter which half, and you need to press the chevron seam allowances to the inside on half of them. So that you're going to sew a total of 8, 4 one way and 4 the other way. So you need to do your seam allowances the other direction. Now, when you do that, you're going to get some wonkiness in your block. And don't be afraid to take, you know, a little rotary cutter and your ruler and trim those up, because the fabric has been folded and trimmed on the bias. Okay. And the bias is diagonally against the weave since you folded it. Okay. So when you do that and you fold the seam allowance the other way, where that seam is, it might get a little wonky, and that's okay. But just trim that up nice and smooth, making sure that you maintain the integrity of the base shape. So the base shape is this size that you started with. And when you fold your seam allowances the other direction, make sure it is still the exact same size. You didn't trim it smaller. Okay. See how you can't see the back from the front or the front from the back. Maintain the integrity of the base shape. That's going to make sure that your block is going to stitch correctly. Okay. All right. Hi, Gabby. Good morning from Germany. Nice to see you here. All righty. So that also, and the reason I'm telling you, you need to flip your seam allowances the other way is to be able to nest these. They need to nest. If you don't flip your seam allowances on half of them the other direction, you're going to have a real hard time nesting. And they're not going to go together, and you're going to get the colors will be off by like a stitch, and it'll make you crazy. So we don't want you to be crazy. Right? Okay. So normally when I'm doing a straight stitch nested seam, I tell you guys to take the pin and to pin it bottom to top. Let me hold this just right. At a 45-degree angle. You want your pin on a diagonal like that. When you're pinning a straight nested seam, you want to pin on a diagonal like that, bottom to top, and that allows the seam to stay nested. As the needle travels down and it jumps 1 or 2 stitches over the seam line, then you can pull the pin because it's still pinned at the top, just on the other side of the needle. Well, when you're pinning diagonal seams, this is a diagonally nested seam, I pin straight. So I just wanted to explain that because you're going to see me stitching with the straight, and some of you get all, why is it different? Okay. I hope that makes sense. Let's switch over to the other camera. And I want to zoom in as much as I can so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay. So this is my normal sewing stitching setup right here. All right. I've got my Keith Ripper, my pins on a needle minder magnet. And then I'll use a friction marking pen. You can't see that there, but that's a friction marking pen, friction fine liner. I like the fine liners. Okay. And then my little Guggenheim snips. They're having a sale coming up too. And you were supposed to get some kind of coupon. I can't remember. All righty. Let's see here. All right. So the way I'm going to pin these, since I've already, let me turn on my new iron, courtesy of Jean. So can't see my hands. There we go. Okay. So I'm just going to take these and butt those edges up together, right? Like that. I'm going to make sure that these edges are even with one another. Sometimes I'll just push them up against till I can feel the resistance of that seam, and then slide it back and forth until the edges are right where they need to be. And that feels nice and smooth in there now. And then I'm going to pin it straight in one side of the seam allowance and out the other to anchor that. And these edges up here look off. Don't worry about that. And then down here, Look at those points. I want to make sure that point stays nice and pointed. So I'm going to push my seam allowances together. Okay. Doesn't matter which way you pin, from the inside or the outside. I usually do them both ways. I don't know why. And I'm going to pin this and make sure that the pin comes out on the other side of the seam allowance, and that anchors that little point together. Okay. This looks good. I got a little bit of bubble there on the bottom. That's nothing I can't live with. And now this has magically seemed to straighten itself out, which makes me very, very happy. Very happy. Nice. All right. Let's see. Let's see if I'm all full of it. Oh my goodness. Okay, now I'm going to go stitch over this pin because I am not pulling that pin before the stitch. If I do, it might shift. So I'm going to go very slow, and I'm over it. I'm going to pull it. Okay. Very slow. You don't want to go real fast. You can break a needle. And then pull this. All right. Now let's see if I was all full of hot water, hot air, hot something. Okay. There we go. Look at that. Ta-da! So that's how you sew points on the diagonal. You just need to make sure you've got seam allowances. Half of them are going the other way. Okay. Connie, she wants to know how to get more info on the May 24th, 24th cruise out of Galveston. Go to sewandsailcruise.com. Ta-da. Yep, that's it. And we're going to, now the one on the 25th, there's multiple classes you can take, and you can choose the classes you want to take. Okay. Look how well the stripes hit. I know, right, Betsy? The stripes were perfect too. That was a fluke. The other one, they weren't. I'm not going to worry about that. See, on this one, the stripes are a little bit off. No, they're not. I thought they, oh, they're a stitch. Who cares? It's fine. It's fine. No, the stripes are right on this one. Now, what I am doing on this one, we got a lot of bulk going on with the, where the points are marrying up. So not my norm, but I will press this seam open and press it flat. And that's going to make it nice and smooth. Okay. So you want to get yourself something good for Christmas in your sewing room. If you don't have it already, we have the seam roll and the baby clapper from Gray Rooster. I've got a link to them below. It's in the section around my sewing room. So wonderful, wonderful things. This is a 13 by 17 woolly Steady Betty, not a woolly Betty, Steady Betty. And then this is my 3-tier cart I got from Amazon. Okay, my tan pieces are not right. I sat there going, I wonder if there's another way I need to sew these. Eagle eye, why didn't you tell me that before I sewed? It's a good match, though. Doesn't it look great? Yeah. Good night. It's always something, y'all. Always something. I was about ready to press it, too. I was so proud. Every time, y'all. All right. So now you need to make sure that your tan pieces are meeting correctly on the top. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional. That's right. I was just testing y'all, see if you were paying attention. Let's see here. Oh my gosh. It's fine. All righty. Yes, I just put a pin in my mouth, and no, I don't want to hear it. You're not supposed to swallow them. Don't worry about it. Been doing it my whole life. Okay. Other than that, it looked great. Yeah. Other than the fact that it was way wrong, it looked great. Let's do it again and see if we get it right. Now my stripes in the middle probably won't be as perfecto. That's okay. Oh, you can see that? Okay. Let's see. As I was stitching this last time, I was like, I sure hope this is the right direction. I didn't even think. Slow over the pin. You guys never do that, I know. It's only me. It only happens to me. The toe of my foot was starting to push up a seam allowance, and I can't have that. It works that way too. Love it. Been there. Okay. So now I'm going to finger press these seams open. Y'all, when you're working with bias pieces, yeah, my stripes are not right on that one at all. They're all off, and that's fine. So when you're working with bias pieces, and that's this entire block pretty much. Is that right? No, the color is cut on the straight of grain. But on your bias pieces, when you're going to finger press, be very careful not to tug it and pull, because you can make your corners of your block go wonky and you won't know why. So Christina says when she does that, it's just the good Lord keeping her humble. Yeah. So I've pressed this open to give an idea of where I want it to be pressed. And then when you're pressing, don't shove, because you're going to shove that, that cross grain. You don't want to do that. I'm just pressing, picking it up and pressing. And that's a trick to keeping your blocks that are cut, that have bias cuts in them, keeping them straight. And follow with the clapper. There we go. See, and then I'm just going to press this down one more time. So I am not on this bias when I'm folding this seam allowance the other direction. I'm not swishing this back and forth, y'all. It's just a press. That's all I'm doing. And you don't have to press all of your seam allowances open. I don't recommend that. You can get holes in your quilt. So from the back, we have a nicely pressed block. Debbie, you love my brain? I've got my challenges, believe me. And we have a real pretty chevron from the front as well. Okay. So these kinds of blocks as a beginner quilter can make you crazy until you learn a couple of tips, which is smush, don't push. That's right, Barbara. I love that. You want to smush it. That's awesome. Oh, yeah. You just want to press, smush. Okay. All righty. So I got to do 2 more of these. Right? 1, 2. Where are my other ones? Let me take this. Get this out of the way. Put that there. Okie dokie. There they are. They were under my coffee cup. So I'm going to do these other ones and get them. You know, if you're blessed and you can, like on these 2 side blocks, okay, I wasn't really finicky about where the point landed. I just lined them up and stitched them, and thankfully they lined up where the point and the color block are together. So On some of my blocks, I don't get real particular about where I don't get real particular. Let's see here. I got to put these right about where the seams are going to nest, but on some of them I do. So if you can just wing it, awesome. But sometimes it doesn't work for me. So I just have to be careful. So the backdrops from Juju, she's got all kinds of backdrops. She's got backdrops that allow for a 1/4 inch seam allowance if you're making a block by block project. And then she has some that are she calls them hoop fillers. Okay. And I love those hoop fillers. I use them all the time. So I was watching a video from Sherry McConnell. She's, all the bloggers are putting out their favorite things for Christmas and whatnot. And she was showing how to make these strip pot holders. I love that idea, but quilting them, not my idea of a good time. I can't stand that. So I would probably go ahead and make the top. She kind of foundation pieced it on a piece of muslin. She took between 1 inch and 1 3/4 inch strips of Christmas fabric and just layered them across a piece of muslin, whatever size, and then quilted that using her walking foot. I want to show you guys something. I want to show you what's happening over here. I got issues. I got issues that are going to be a problem. Okay, let me zoom you in if I can. Do you see that bubble? There's a bubble right here. Now my needle is already over. My needle is already over the first seam, but I got a bubble right here. And if I try to sew it in and I push it, let me get this lighting better. If I try to sew this and I push it, it's going to mess up this point seam down here on the bottom. Okay, that's a problem. So since I'm already over this seam, I'm going to go ahead and cut the thread. Okay. And I'm going to fuss with my machine again because it does this sometimes. And I'm going to flip this over. So while my seam is together already, I'm going to go in one side of the seam allowance and out the other from this side. And I'm going to pull that other pin. Okay. And now I'm going to sew from this direction with the bubble on the bottom. And I'm going to let the feed dogs pull that fabric in and do their magic. And they're going to ease in the fabric, the bubble. Why did that happen? I don't know. Just go past where I stopped before, crossing over the threads. Let me see. Perfect. Okay. That turned out perfect with no bubble or anything. When you see a bubble like that, that's going to cause a problem. Okay. You can head off trouble at the pass. I hear you. Yeah, you can head off trouble at the pass. If you just pay attention, just don't blindly go on about your business and think everything's going to be fine, because it won't. Believe me. Too much work for my little Keith Ripper. Keith is my husband if you're new. If you're new, pop in the chat and tell us you're new. We've got a sunshine committee somewhere wandering around. They'll make sure that you feel right at home. Okay, that's looking really pretty from the back. That's looking real pretty from the back, nice and smooth and flat, and real pretty from the front. Those points are really nice. Okay, awesome. So don't be afraid to stop stitching part of the way through your block and flip it around. Just repin it, make sure your pins are good. All right, so I'm ready to get this together. I need these little pieces here. So this is what I was talking about not really, you know, making sure that these points are right. I'm going to cross my fingers and hope I get it right. This goes over here. What was that noise, Frito? Okay. When I'm doing this, I'm just going to pin this bottom edge to make sure that it stays put. And the feed dogs don't ease in the bottom fabric faster than the top, because that's a natural occurrence unless you are using a walking foot. You know, when you don't know these little tricks, it can make you crazy and it can discourage you from sewing. Let's see if I got that corner right. Oh, boom. Right on it. How you like me now? Yay, that makes me happy. And this one's going to go like this. Yep. I even got it going the right direction. All right. But if you don't pin that bottom edge, the feed dog will naturally pull up, and just your luck, it'll pull it up so that when you try to put your corners together, then it's off a stitch. That one's right too. Happy, happy, happy. Love it. Okay, so we're making a 9 patch now. Do I have 2 more of these to put together? I think I do. I do. I have 2 more of these I got to put together, right? Yeah. I'm not ready to make my 9 patch just yet. Put these right. Okay. All right. I want to make sure. If only Lori Holt would have made that background fabric non-directional. I know, friend. I know. I'm not happy. So anyway, I was thinking I would make up some strip pot holders because I have loads of Christmas fabric. Make up some strip pot holders and then put them in the hoop, in the embroidery hoop, and then you can just run a Juju backdrop quilting on them. And she's got that crosshatch, which looks amazing. So you just tape the edges down, or make sure the edges are larger than what you're stitching, right? And then you can just trim it up. One stitch over. Good to go. All right. Yeah, so, someone asked me too, when does the Quilted Snowman actually start? It starts January 25th. And there will be a block set release from the Fat Quarter Shop every month at the end of the month, starting in January. So that'll be nice. Don't forget, too, we're making the Brightly Sampler from the Family Favorites book by Sherry and Chelsea. That starts December 16th. I'll be back from the cruise. And my viewers in Australia and New Zealand should have their fabric by then. and we're going to do a block a week. Now that's going to be every Monday for a week. I'll get finished with you guys at 8 Central. We'll do our hour in the Stitchuation room, and then we'll have an hour break so I can get breakfast and, you know, chickens and all that. That's so pretty. And then I'll get back on at 9 live. So we will do that. That's just sewing. We're not going to be visiting. We're just sewing a block. Okay. So, yeah, Judy, bless your heart. I love that. My husband says my piecing and quilting is nice because I do it twice. Yeah, that's right. I love it. Okay. So if you have a different fat quarter bundle, because I know you don't have a fat quarter bundle laying around anywhere in your sewing room, right? I mean, who does? But if you find one and you want to do that, you can just get the book and get the Brightly sampler pattern and use your fabrics. You need at least the pattern calls for 35, and the one I'm using has 32, and I will use a couple of fabrics, either a couple more times, or I will sub in some other fabrics that coordinate with the line. Okay. All right. So now we are going to sew this 9 patch. And the way I do my 9 patches, it's just a habit that I have formed over the years that odd number rows, I iron my seams out at the intersections where they go like this. See how those are pressed out? I'm going to firm press them now. And the even number rows, the intersection is pressed in. And that way everything works. And it's nice, and already I don't have to go back and go, oh, I did my seam allowance the wrong direction, and now it won't nest. I need to get my husband to put me a light up here in the corner shining down on me, because I'm in the dark. Even though I've got a big light right here and I've got this light, I need one right up here. Let me go see. I'll probably have to make him something special for breakfast to get him to do that. Oh, my word. So these are my first and third rows. So I am pressing these seams that will be the intersection on the 9 patch outwards. And then I just kind of keep that in mind the whole time that I'm doing this. All right. So now my middle block, which color is it? It's this flowery one. Here's my middle block on row number 2. It's just a piece of fabric. Oh, Wendy, that's a great question for Sandy. Did you reduce them by a specific percentage or by a specific size? You can go into that properties box on Canvas and do a specific reduction. Sandy's pretty savvy with that. All right, so these have to have the points going toward, the chevron points go toward the center. So it needs to go like so. Okay, now I'm not going to tempt fate. So I'm going to make sure, see on here, when you're, let me pin this. And pin this because they're both on the bias. I want to get this just right. You guys, the baby step before all of this to make sure these are right is accurate cutting. Okay. So as I stitch down this side, I'm going to make sure that I hit that point right there. Okay. You don't want to go inside of it and you don't want to go outside of it. So if you go inside of it, you'll tip it and it'll be a little blunt point. You don't want that. You want to hit right there. That's exactly where you want to stitch. And I want to make sure that that lower fabric doesn't move around. So I'm going to overpin this because that's how I roll. Okay. And if all the stars align and everything's good, it'll work. Real slow, watching that needle, making sure it hits right on that point. Perfect. One more. I love it. All right. That'll work. So that's what you're looking for when you're doing these, okay? And by the time I fold this in, because my seam needs to go the other direction, it needs to fold towards center like this because it's an even number row. And then now my tip is not, I haven't tipped the point, okay? So let's do this one. There's no shame in overpinning. I should put that on a t-shirt. There's no shame in overpinning. Measure it. Get these ends exactly where they need to be. Woo, it's warm in here. Too warm for me. And I want this. I don't want that bottom fabric going anywhere. So I've overpinned. Some people can whip right through these things. I can't. I have to be real particular. Otherwise, it makes me crazy. And this is starting to flip up. So I'm going to use my knee lift. Let me hit right on that point. There we go. That'll work. Okay, good. And I'm going to press this. Smush, don't push. I love it. Smush, don't push. Very nice. Very, very happy with that. Okay. Oh, that's beautiful. Isn't that pretty? That turned out lovely. All right, so now that this one has the seam allowances pressed to the middle, and these seam allowances are pressed to the outside, now I know they're going to nest perfectly. That's great. Everybody said phrase of the day. Smush, don't push. You never know what you're going to learn here. Those are nice, nice, nice. Now I'm doing a straight seam. Oh, there we go. So now I'm doing a straight seam nesting. Okay. I take my thumb and I just kind of push it up against its partner there. And now I'm going to pin at a 45-degree angle, bottom to top, in one side of that seam allowance and then out the other, so that I can stitch right here. Okay, and just go a couple of stitches over that seam line, and that will be anchored together before I pull the pin. Same here. And I like to pin from the inside out. Okay. My husband's up making his blender drink. I can hear that thing running. Okay. And then here in the center, I want to make sure that I hit that point. I don't want that going and drifting inwards because sometimes it will. All right, let's see if we got this right and make it work. If it doesn't work, I'll take it apart and show you guys how I make it work. I got one stitch over the seam, worked fine. Okay, hit the point. I love my knee lift. Makes me happy. Let's see how we did. I'll take it. The nests are beautiful. I could probably go in one stitch on that. That nest is pretty, and that point is perfect. Okay, so I could get in just a hair closer, and I'm going to do that by just starting halfway through the block and stitch right next to my stitch line, and then gradually back out to the center of the block. That's better. That's good. All right, that looks good. I've got some trimming to do on this. Oh, goodness. Well, y'all, this has been fun. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I hope you had a good time. I know I did. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. I am so grateful and thankful for all of you that follow me and share my channel and watch. And I love the community that we have built. I love that you guys chit chat and have friendships made on the side, virtual or even in person. I have so much to be thankful for, and it's all because of you. All right, you guys, I will talk to you soon. No show tomorrow. See you on Giveaway Friday. All right. I love y'all. Happy Thanksgiving. Go sew something. Bye. Oh, give me a thumbs up.